So to make the pattern of this shoe you are seeing on your screen right now, the first thing you need to do is to mask your last. After masking the last, you draw your center line. Then the next thing is to get all the cardinal points necessary. So place your last this way, locate this part that is touching the flat surface, then turn the other side, do the same. The next thing you're going to do is to place your tape on both sides, and then you draw a line that will join the both. You draw a line, so that is going to give you your vamp line. Then divide from the vamp point to that ball point into two. You're going to have your low from here to here divided into two, and then you have your low lateral instep point. So now you place your tape on your counter point, which is here. Before then, you draw your counter line. You see the counter line. So after drawing the counter line, you place your tape on the counter point. So the counter point of this last is 6 centimeters. So place it down to the low lateral instep point, and then you draw your quarter line. So with that, you measure from here to here 1 inch. That is going to be the instep point, 1 inch. So, and with that, the whole cardinal points are set. Now the next thing we're going to do is to start the drawing. So now I'm going to take a measurement from my center line at this point to somewhere here 0.3 inch. 0.3 inch. Just count 3 lines, that is 0.3 inch. So now take your drawing from that instep point through that 0.3 inch, bring it down to your vamp line. Bring it down to the vamp line, and then from that vamp line you take a curve. You take a curve at this point. You see the vamp line here. You take a curve. Once you have drawn the line down to the vamp line, you take a curve at that point. Take it to the side, that's the feather edge. But before then, you're going to take a measurement from your vamp line to somewhere here 1 inch. That's from this ball point here, from here to somewhere here 1 inch. So that's where the line you took from the instep point is going to land on the feather edge. So here is the 1 inch. So from here, that curve, take it down to that measurement here. So after that, the next thing you're going to do is to take a line from the instep again, take it towards the quarter line. You see it. So take it down to the quarter line. You see the quarter line here, so just take a line from the instep, then join it to the quarter line. Then the next thing you're going to do is to take a measurement from here to somewhere here. That is going to be 0.7 inch. That is the width of the buckle strap, 0.7 inch. After 0.5, you count 2 lines again, that's 0.7. So from here to here again, measure another 0.7. You're taking the 2 measurements so that you'll be able to get a uniform line. So that's why you're taking it in 2 places. So you bring it down to the quarter line again. Bring it down to the quarter line. Now you draw a line at this point here that will cross the quarter line. You see it? You draw a line that will cross the quarter line and then join the 2 lines for the buckle strap. You get the point? So now I'm going to make this line thicker and join it to this point. We already have the shape of the counter. So now take the line again, But before then, you take a measurement from the back here to somewhere here, 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. So here is the 2.5 inches. Next thing we're going to do, we take the line from the buckle strap here, take it in, then curve it out to that 2.5 inches. So you see what I did there, you see the curve, you have to take it a bit away from the 2.5 and then curve it down. See it? So that is it. So now the next thing, you see that vamp line, you see your vamp line where it is on the feather edge here. So you take a line from that point, take it up to the quarter line, that's towards the low lateral instep point. Take it up, you see the vamp line where it's touching the feather edge, so take a line from that point, take it up, you see your quarter line running through, see it? That's where you have to take the line to. Then take it towards the cap. Then you're going to leave about a space of ½ inch from the cap. Then you curve the line to the center line. With that, you're going to have the separate pattern. Thus the tongue is going to be separated from the main pattern. So that is it. So you see what we have here. So we're almost done drawing the pattern. We are done with it. So you see what we have here. The next thing now we're going to do is to cut the pattern out and then develop it one by one after the other. So once you have peeled the pattern, that's the first part of the pattern away from the last, you draw a straight line on your cardboard paper. Draw a straight line on your cardboard paper, then you paste, you see the line, see it. Now you paste the center line of the pattern to that line on your cardboard paper. So make sure you do that carefully to avoid too much crease, and also to make sure that the pattern shape is still intact after you must have pasted it on the cardboard paper. So take your time. So once you are done doing that, you make some adjustments if there is any need, and if there is any need for any correction, that's making sure that the lines are still intact, you do that. So this is where the buckle strap holder stopped at. So we're now going to add our allowance from here to somewhere here. I'm going to add let's see, I'm going to add, let's add 1.5 inch. That was what I added as the allowance. So retake your measurement 0.3 inch and then you join it to the buckle holder, the buckle strap holder. So we join it, so you know we're going to fold that part so that the buckle strap can pass in between. After that, the next thing you do is add your lasting allowance. So I'm adding 1.2 inches. I'm going to add 1.2 inches round. That is going to be the lasting allowance. So after doing that, bring down these lines to the elastic allowance. Bring down the lines, and then you join your measurements for your elastic allowance. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is to cut the 2D pattern into shape. So after cutting it into shape, we're going to proceed. We're going to cut our marking dot that will separate the two parts of the pattern. So that was what I'm going to be doing now. So I use my razor blade to cut along the line that is separating the two parts of the pattern. So once we are done doing that, we are going to proceed. Fold your cardboard paper into two equal parts that will contain the pattern. Then place the pattern center line to the folded edge. And then after doing that, you're going to mark out the first part of the pattern. So let's do that. So after marking it out, you join the dots to have a complete diagram. Then after that, add about 0.3 inch. That is going to be the stitching allowance that will join the two parts of the pattern together. So just add about 0.3 inch along the line. So after that, we are going to also cut our marking dots along the line. So once we are done doing that, the next thing is to cut it into shape. So after cutting it into shape, you remove your staple pin. Remember, you have to staple it before you cut into shape so that you will have a uniform outcome. So this is what we have as the first part of the pattern. You see it? Now let's proceed. We're going to do the same thing. Pick your cardboard paper, fold it into 2 equal parts that will contain the pattern. Then place the pattern center line on the folded edge, and then you mark out the second part of the pattern. So once you are done doing that, you place this part of the pattern, place it to confirm the curve. So once you have confirmed the curve, just to make sure the curve is correct, because you know these two parts are going to match, so you confirm the curve. So once it is confirmed, you join the dots to have a full diagram. So now another thing you have to remember to do is to mark where your buckle strap holder stopped at. You need to mark it. So this is it here. So you need to mark it to know where to fold from when you are crafting the pattern. So I'm going to give it a mark with my razor blade so that I will be able to mark it out on the leather whenever I want to use it. After doing that, staple and also cut this part into shape. So after cutting it into shape, remove the staple pin and you have the full pattern. So this is coming this way. The two are going to be merged this way. To see it. So that's how it is going to be merged. So that is it. So let's proceed to the next. But before then, remember to mark the pattern facing. This part is going to be on the media side. So, and also mark this one. So you see it, and see it also on this one. So it is very important. So this is what we're going to have once we spread the pattern. So you see it. Now let's proceed. The next thing you're going to do, you cut out the counter. You see where this line is. You see where I'm cutting from. That's where you're going to start from to cut out the counter. And while cutting, don't cut on the line. Don't cut on the diagram. Just cut slightly after the diagram. Leave a space on the diagram before you cut. Then peel it out from the last. So already you must have drawn a line on your cardboard paper that is going to contain the pattern. Then give this part some slight cut. Give it some slight cut, and then you're going to place the counter line on this straight line. So place it this way. It is not going to lie straight on the straight line. So from the top is going to align on the straight line, while down to the feather edge is going to be away from the straight line. So based on the curve at the counter. Then carefully paste it completely on the cardboard paper. Make sure you avoid too much crease. So make some corrections, make some adjustments if there is need. So now I added extra paper on this side and also on this side. So I'll fold it from that line. You see the line here. I'll fold it into two like this, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to add the lasting allowance. So the lasting allowance is going to be, let's add 1 inch as the lasting allowance. So add it up round 1 inch, then bring down this line, the counter line, and then join your measurements to have your lasting allowance. And then down to this side, you bring it down and join it. Then after that, you staple, and then you cut into shape. So remove the pin. I had a shortage somewhere down the line, so I'm going to add a small cardboard paper at that point. So I'm going to add a small cardboard paper here to make it up. So after doing that, you also mark the pattern facing for this part. So here is it. So, and with that, we are done with this part. The next thing we are going to do now is to, you see, you're going to stitch this part. So that is it. So now let's cut out the buckle strap. So the next thing you do, cut your masking tape complete the part that is missing, and then redraw the buckle strap back to the center line. So after doing that, you cut it out. So once you have cut it out, make sure the center line is there. Then your cardboard paper, fold it into two, then place the center line on that folded edge. Place it on that folded edge. So once you have done that, you paste it completely, and then the next thing we are going to do, just make some adjustments, make sure the lines are intact. So after doing that, take a measurement from your center line, then ascertain from the center line here, ascertain the length the buckle strap should be. So I think the total length should be around 5 inches. So you do the same measurement here from the folded edge, you do 5 inches, and then you extend the lines. Then after that, you staple and then cut into shape. With that, we are done with the whole process. So you see all we did. Now this is the buckle strap. Remove the pin, and this is what you're going to have. So also mark the facing. So now let's check the buckle strap. So it is curving correctly. See, it is curving correctly. See it? So now the next thing we are going to do is to set them. So this part is going to be folded. You see it? Remember, it is going to be folded. See it? That's where the buckle strap will pass in between the buckle strap holder. So remember, on the other side of the buckle strap, you have to reduce the length, but that is what you're going to be doing when you are assembling the pattern. So here is where your buckle will be placed. See it? And you're going to stitch this and then stitch around here. So this side you're going to reduce the length of it, you remember. So but that's what you're going to be doing while crafting the pattern. So that is that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates, because more videos will be coming your way. Thank you and have a nice day.